Hi guys, this is another problem from section 6.3, assessment A. This is number 15. I was actually working it and then somebody called me, so I had to disconnect let me stop the video. Anyway, let me explain to you what the problem says. Basically it says, John took all his money out of his saving account. He spent $50 on a radio and 3/5 of that of what remained on presents. Half of what was left he puts in checking account, and the remaining, which is the other half, would be $35 he donated to charity. The question is, how much money did John originally have in his saving account? So I went ahead and let X be the original amount in the saving account. Now, how much money he spent? $50 plus 3/5 of what remains, which means, of course, since X was the original amount, what remains after you spend $50 will be X minus 50. And that's how much he spent. But then he says half of that will be how much he's left with the $35. So what we have is half of, so it's going to be half of course, the remaining. Now remember, X is the total amount in the saving, original amount. This is how much he spent, so what's remaining would be X minus that amount, which is exactly the same thing. And he says half of that, of course, will be what he put in checking account, but the other half was $35. So the other half, which will be half of the same thing, is $35. So basically the first step, so the question is, what is X? He wants to know what's the total amount, original amount of savings. So I want to remove the 1/2 by multiplying both sides by 2 right off the bat. So now I just distribute the negative by all the terms in here. So negative times 50 become minus 50. Negative times positive 3/5 become negative 3/5. We still have that X minus 50 inside. And also 2 times 35 is 70. Now if you distribute the negative 3/5 by both of those terms, that becomes minus 3/5 X. And then also minus times minus become plus. Now remember, 5 goes into 50 10 times, so 10 times 3 simply becomes plus 30. Because that negative times negative made it a positive, and that becomes positive 30. Okay, so the right still 70. Let me move it up a little bit. So now we have negative 50 plus 30, of course. So I'm going to combine the like term. Now remember, X means, because we have 3/5 X, so if you're going to combine them, you need to write this as also as 5 over 5, which is the same thing as 1X. So you want the same denominator. So 5 minus 3 becomes 2. So 2/5 X is what your X term will combine to be. Negative 50 plus 30 becomes, of course, minus 20. And that all equals to 70. Okay, let me stop there for a minute. I'm going to actually move it up here real quick, just so we can see it better. So far, here where we are. Just move it over here. So now we have 2/5 times X minus 20 equals to 70. So I'm going to isolate the X by adding 20 to both sides. So now we have 2/5 X equals to 90. And of course, to solve for X, we're going to remove 2/5, which means the easiest way is to multiply any fraction you want to remove. You multiply by its reciprocal. As you can see, everything cancels. So that just becomes 1, which becomes, of course, X. And also on this side, you have to multiply by same thing, which is 5/2. So that becomes X. And then, of course, 2 goes to 90 45 times. And 45 times 5, I believe, is 225. And, of course, this was a dollar amount, so we're going to add the units at the end. So $225 is how much was in the original saving account, okay? Okay, there were a couple other questions, I believe, from section 6.4. I'll try to work on that one as soon as I can, and I'll upload that also on your Blackboard. Thank you, guys.